Hi, friends. Thank you again for joining us for today's Aloha Beach Camp Open House. We're very thankful and excited to have you with us. Just wanted to spend a few moments now sharing a brief slideshow with you that really sort of gives you a deep dive into how Aloha Beach Camp works from day to day each summer, how we hire our counselors, different licenses, permits, accreditation, how transportation works, how our registration format works. So everything, we're sort of give you a very micro level, detailed filled slideshow here, but never hesitate to ask questions. There's a little area box at the bottom right hand corner of your screen, and it says say hello, and then underneath there it says say something nice. Just type your question or comment into the box, and we'll try to get to all of them as the open house goes along. The one of the nice things about this platform, this video platform we use to conduct our online events, is that even after the open house is over, well, we're just, by the way, we're video taping this, video recording this event. So if you tune in late, or you want to re-watch it again later, or you weren't able to make it and you are watching it later, the chat function or the chat feature is going to be up there forever, and you can always pop in and type a question or a comment, even months even after the open house ends, and we'll still be able to communicate and answer with you in real time whenever you leave the question or comment. So I guess the last thing I'll say here is we're really looking forward to a fun, exciting, safe, outdoor beach camp experience with your kids this summer. After last year's COVID bummer of a summer, where things are looking much brighter and we're getting ready to go. We hope your kids are as excited about camp as we are to deliver and present the program for you and them. So let's see if I can't share my screen with you so that we can get into the slideshow. And I'd like to try to show you everything. So, okay, so if you're watching, if you see what I hope you see, you'll see two girls on the left standing on the beach, having a good time with sunscreen all over them. And then there's six campers on the right over here where my mouse is. They are, we have a lot of not just water activities at Aloha Beach Camp, but also activities on the sand, do a lot of relay races, play capture the flag, sand soccer, golf in the sand, all kinds of things, sandcastle contests, and that's what these kids are doing over here. I think this was a day that we had a sandcastle building contest, and everybody wins. So you don't have to, nobody has to worry about building the best sandcastle. Everybody wins and gets prizes, and it's all good fun. So that's what we're looking at here. And then at the top, I want to get into this a little bit more later, but this just sort of talks about our accreditation. Aloha Beach Camp is the only accredited, licensed, and permitted beach summer day camp in LA, accredited by the American Camp Association, which these are the logos down below, and LA County Department of Beaches and Harbors, and then the LA County Department of Public Health as well. So I think I mentioned in the beginning we were going to get into some real level of detail, which we will do. But this screen here, this slide here, gives you more of a sort of like a macro idea or notion of what we offer when we talk to parents, and we do, on a regular basis. Many of these points are what we talk about, and things that we know are important to parents and are important to us. I will just sort of go through this really quickly. Aloha Beach Camp is broken down under the main Aloha Beach Camp name. It's sort of divided into 3 age appropriate or age-specific programs. We have what we call the Kiki Camp. That's Keiki, Kiki Camp. That's for like 4, 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. We have a middle program for the sort of like the middle-age set, the tween, set, which this is going to be for 8, 9, 10, and 11-year-olds. And then as they get old, campers get older, they sort of gravitate, or I should say graduate, to our high action camp or our high action program. That one is for 12 years and over. And we'll talk about the programs in more detail. Transportation, part of the benefit of enrollment at Aloha Beach Camp is that you get to choose. Free transportation is provided in the price of the camp. You pay a single fee. You never pay more than transportation. It's a daily rate. I think it's $99 a day currently, and then it includes transportation from one of, or your choice of, a number of different meeting points throughout Los Angeles and the Valley. We have a very flexible, what we call a day-by-day enrollment format. And this is more specifically our camp registration process, where you can pretty much choose the days you want your child to come to camp. We don't sort of dice up the summer in advance into prearranged or specific sessions where we say, okay, you can only come to camp Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for these 4 weeks, and you have to sort of fit into that. No, we don't do that like that. We let you tell us when you want to come to camp. You sort of create your own camp sessions and just kind of like cherry pick the days from day to day, week to week, whatever works for your family schedule works perfectly fine for us. As far as licensing and permitted go, licensing and permits go, and accreditation, we are accredited by the American Camp Association. That means we have to we conform to over 300 sort of industry key aspects of camp operation relating to the highest level in industry standards. And so these 300 standards, they relate to the way we conduct our transportation program, we hire our staff, we train our staff, our safety program, and on and on. I don't think there's any other accredited beach camps anywhere close by, and safety is a big number of safety standards related to the accreditation as well. And as far as licensing and permitting go, we are licensed and permitted by the LA County Department of Beaches and Harbors. They give us a permit to operate at the beach. And we're also licensed and permitted as an organized camp, organized children's camp by the LA County Department of Public Health, which happens to also be the same organization or government agency that sets COVID guidelines and protocol. So we're a COVID compliant camp, and nobody else, no other beach camps has this certification either. The final point is money back guarantee. We realize that it takes our camp is not a traditional program. It's not for everyone. We found that it's definitely for most kids, but sometimes it's just not a match, and we understand that. We don't want any of the financial risk to be on you to sign up for camp. So the first 2 days your camper comes to camp with us, we always view that as like a trial period. And if it doesn't go well, we're definitely going to be in correspondence with each other, and you can give us a progress report and we'll give you one back, and we'll see if we can make sure that that even if something gets off to a rocky start, we're going to do everything we can to improve the experience for your child. But if it doesn't work out, we'll still be friends. We'll give you 100% money back guarantee, including the first 2 days you already came, so you never risk a dime. And that's how we offer our guarantee program. Just wanted to put some pictures or incorporate some pictures of the camp program within the slideshow that you can see and sort of get a wide view of all the different, this is definitely not all, but many of the different activities we do at camp. Each group will have about 12 kids in it or less with 2 counselors. This is every Wednesday, the older kids, meaning 8 and over, we go to the lake. This is Castaic Lake near Magic Mountain. We have boating and tubing and jet skiing activities. We provide all the equipment. We provide all the surfboards and surfing instruction. Everything here is instructional. Sometimes parents ask about ratios, and we know that's important to you too. And our response, as far as ratios goes, is that it's not really easy to give a response because everything varies depending on the activities that the campers are doing at any one time. So as you can see here, like in the boat, you'll have maybe 3 campers to the boat driver. And you'll also have when usually these boats are much larger than they appear right here. You can put like between 5 to 8 kids on here safely. And if it increases beyond 3, then you put additional counselors on there too. But here you can see it's 3 to 1. When the kids go surfing, I was mentioning that everything's instructional. Many of the campers that attend Aloha Beach Camp have not participated or done these types of aquatic sport activities before. So we want to make sure everybody gets a maximum instruction time and personal attention from our counselors and staff that they deserve. Every camper gets his or her own surfboard and surfing instructor. So this ratio is 1 to 1. So you're always going to be your child will always be learning to surf with a counselor, next to him or her, or guiding the surfboard from behind, and so on. And then we'll have groups where you'll see 2 counselors to a maximum of 12 campers plus several CITs, which we call counselors in training. So I think, and they're about 16 to 17 years old or so. We'll have some mature 15-year-olds. But what you should keep in mind is that the ratios will never exceed for no matter what campers are doing, whatever the activity is. For the 8 and over group, it'll never exceed 7 to 1, and the younger ones can be as low as 3 to 1. And younger meaning 4, 5, 6, and 7, you'll most typically see 3 to 1 and like 2 to 1 in the water. But when I say 3 to 1, the group is sitting down together, eating together on the sand, having lunch, and that's when all of us sit and eat together, socially distanced, of course. And I should say that all of these photos, we didn't operate last year. We decided there was just too many bad risks that we didn't want to take, and wanted to keep health and safety as the priority. So we have no pictures from last year. All of these are pre-COVID. That's why you don't see kids spaced by distance or anything like that, which we'll have that type of thing this summer. So these are the camp programs I was mentioning, the Kiki Camp, the Kahuna Camp, and the High Action Camp. It's really, best way to think about Aloha Beach Camp is sort of like a comprehensive beach camp program. Sometimes people say or ask us, are you a surf camp? And yes, we do offer surfing, but surfing is just sort of like a smaller component or just like one activity of a much larger, more comprehensive beach camp program. So in addition to surfing, the kids play sand games, as we saw in one of the first pictures when this slideshow started. They get to play in the water and swim with their counselors. So you see this is a 3 to 1 ratio here, but they're just posing for the picture. There's always going to be, the counselors will always swim with the kids, and the kids never go deeper than their waist. And so the younger program for the Kiki campers, the Kiki Camp program is really meant to be an introduction to the beach and ocean environment, so that they learn lifelong water skills from the very beginning and learn to be safe and confident in the water. Young children need that. For the middle-age group, things start to get a little bit faster paced. They get to do more activities, like tubing is one activity. I was trying to decide whether to talk about jet skiing or tubing, but I'll show you both. The reason I was kind of hesitant is because at the lake, we were mentioning earlier about Castaic Lake on Wednesdays. Both the Kahuna campers and the High Action campers both visit Castaic Lake on Wednesday, and then they separate off into their specific groups. They generally get to do, everybody does all the same activities. So the 8-year-olds get to go what we call tubing, and the 12-year-olds get to go jet skiing, and then they switch so that the older groups go tubing. This rope is connected to a motorboat, and then the tubing of the older kids get to go tubing, and middle-aged group go jet skiing, and vice versa. So everybody gets to do everything. And so here you have one counselor to one camper, and our jet skis, they're also called wave runners. I think jet skis are technically, a jet ski is they look like this watercraft, but they're jet skis are where you actually stand up on them. These you sit down, as you can see, and this is called really a wave runner. But the counselor or camp director drives the jet ski. Everybody wears Coast Guard approved and properly fitting Coast Guard approved life vests, life jackets. And so our wave runners and or jet skis, however you want to feel comfortable referring to them, they are a 3-person personal watercraft. They're called PWC, personal watercraft, and there will be 2 counselors and one camp staff member driving the jet ski. When the Kiki campers reach age 8, then they can go up to participate in these activities. But they just, on Wednesdays, the older kids will go to Castaic Lake, and the younger kids will stay and have their typical beach camp program, whether that's Zuma or Paradise Cove or wherever we are at that particular time. So just to kind of conclude the thought of how we were mentioning that Aloha Beach Camp is really a beach camp and not just a surf camp or not just a boogie boarding camp or not just a tubing camp. This is the same picture you just saw on the tube in the prior slide. It's just round or a circle now, it's just blown up a little bit. But all these different, and this one you saw on the first page, all of these different activities are just, I'm just trying to think out loud for a second. We must have somewhere between 200 to 500 different beach camp activities, and they range from ocean play to sand games. The kids make kites. They play with metal detectors, candy lei making. We have an activity we call sunscreen soda. We make snow cones. We have barbecue cookouts. We have you name it, and we have it. And I'm going to try to show you as we go along here a typical daily schedule, if I can find it, so that you can see what I mean by what I mean by my example of all these different activities that are offered, and you can sort of, to use the phrase I used before, cherry pick the activities you want and the days you want to attend camp. So as far as transportation goes, this is all included, as we mentioned. All the buses have seat belts, and the counselors ride. They're all fully insured. The buses are insured, and the camp counselors ride the buses to and from camp with the kids. The buses are provided by a company called Tumbleweed Transportation. You're probably familiar with Tumbleweed. You might see that maybe your child goes to a school that uses Tumbleweed to provide school bus services for them during the school year, or maybe they've taken a field trip on a Tumbleweed bus. I personally was one of the founders of the Tumbleweed Transportation program. This has got or company. This has to be like 25 some odd years ago. I can't tell you now how long, but in any case, I have my wife and I have a very good relationship with Tumbleweed still, even though we're no longer there and working there. And they provide our buses and our bus drivers. And these are bus drivers who we've had for the last 16, 18, 20 years. The same bus drivers year after year, summer after summer, come back and work for us at Aloha Beach Camp. We basically get the pick of the litter, so to speak, in terms of bus drivers at Aloha Beach Camp. And We all know them. They know the kids. They know our counselors. We're all comfortable with each other. So the bus drivers, the Tumbleweed provides the buses and the bus drivers, and our camp counselors go on, ride the bus with the kids to and from camp. We make the bus ride to and from camp. When the kids get on the bus in the morning, it's part of the camp day. It's sometimes parents ask, can they skip the bus service and bring their kids to camp on their own and meet us at the beach instead of using the buses? It's perfectly fine to do that. But just so you know, we do lots of activities and bonding with the camp counselors and other campers, and we try to make the bus ride itself part of the camp experience. So you can forgo the bus if you want to, but we really encourage, I'd say 99% of the families or more do take advantage of the bus service. And this year, what will happen is that all the windows will be down on both sides of the bus. The buses will be sanitized, disinfected 2 to 3 times a day, and before the campers get on the bus in the morning, and then after they leave, and then when they exit the bus, when they get to camp, and then again, the bus driver will sanitize the bus when they get back to the bus yard after the last camper is dropped off in the afternoon. So I guess 3 times a day. And the kids will likely be wearing masks on the bus, face coverings, and spread out every other seat, depending on how COVID improves or the situation as far as moving into the different tiers may change. Everything's always changing for the good, as we know now, thankfully. And but for right now, the plan is that everybody wears face coverings on the bus and spaces out every other seat, except siblings will be allowed to sit next to each other. Just some more photos of the different things we do. And this is called, I'm just looking at this is called skimboarding. The campers kind of take a running start and throw their boards onto the wet sand in front of them and chase their boards and catch up to their boards and jump on them. They're basically like surfing on the sand. This is what we call wakeboarding at Castaic Lake. This is sort of like a mixture of, it's called wakeboarding. It's sort of like a mix of water skiing and snowboarding at the same time. You saw the tubing picture that had this rope attached to it. So this rope is attached to a boat, and this is called wakeboarding. And then the same rope and boat and all that becomes the same use for tubing. And then surfing again, 1-to-1. And sometimes parents ask, so for the boogie boards and things, we provide all the boogie boards. You can send your own if you want to. All the equipment is provided. You can send your own wetsuits if you want to. Most of the kids don't wear wetsuits. It's up to you. We'll have a few on hand if campers want to try them. But as the summer goes on and the weather and water warms up, it's really unnecessary. Personal choice. Once again, this is the Wave Runner at Castaic Lake, and you have 2 campers in life jackets. The counselor drives the Wave Runner or the jet ski and also wears a life vest. By the way, I suggest everybody wears sunglasses. Just my 2. And boogie boarding here. Of all ages, it gets to do boogie boarding. So you can choose to create your own camp schedule. Pick a day here and a day there. You're more than welcome to sign up for Aloha Beach Camp and create your own camp schedule as if you were adhering to or conforming with a prearranged or preset camp schedule. If you want your child to come every Tuesday and Thursday for 6 straight weeks, and that's your session, like a traditional camp session, you can do that. If you want them to come Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 2 weeks, that's perfectly fine. But just as many people, they sign up according to any schedule they want, and that's how we offer it and want to make it easy for you to create your own your own schedule of days. So you have people coming a day here or a day there. They show their camper shows up for their first day of camp on Monday. The camper disappears for a few weeks. They come back for a couple days the next week. Then they come every day the following week, and then they don't come again, and they come back. So you can mix and match your own camp schedule. Please don't be concerned that We won't remember your child the next time they come back if they miss some time in between, their first and second day of camp or anything like that. Absolutely not. There's new campers starting every day, and the entire group, the entire setup is to be welcoming, and you have when your child, let's say your child comes on Tuesday and doesn't come back for 2 or 3 weeks, they're going to feel like they never left, and the counselor's going to treat them like they never left, and they're still going to see all the same counselors, because the counselors work every day. The counselors work 5 days a week for 10 weeks all summer. We operate Monday through Friday from I think it is June 14th until August 20th. So the counselors are here, and the kids will be in the same group every day and see the same counselors no matter when they come or what kind of schedule you create for yourself. We want to be clear that when we first started the camp, we felt like families might be a little intimidated or the campers might be a little bit nervous to come because they haven't done this kind of stuff before. But please help your camper understand, and hopefully you feel comfortable too, that almost nobody has done this kind of thing in the past, and we're very sensitive to that. And we only pick counselors that can demonstrate that sensitivity and make kids feel safe and comfortable and confident and enjoying what they're doing and having a pleasure learning how to do these things. So no child is ever on their own. They're always within arm's reach of a counselor. They're always in arm's reach of new friends that they made or friends that they came with. And the program is inclusive and completely instructional. There's no way that somebody should ever feel like, oh, what if I don't know how to do it or anything like that. We're going to help you from the ground up, and our staff will be with you step by step and give every child as much personal attention and dedicated camper to counselor time as necessary to help your kids feel good and comfortable and enjoying their experience with us. We've gone over a lot of this, but just so sometimes we get phone calls. How does Aloha Beach Camp differ from this beach camp? How does Aloha Beach Camp, how are you separated differently from this surf camp or that, or this camp or the other? Because it's not, there's a ton of camps out there. Sometimes it can get confusing or a little bit overwhelming to make a choice you're comfortable with. So we just want you to know, these are sort of the main points. There are no other accredited beach camps in the Los Angeles area. There's some camps that will try to make you think they're accredited, and some will reference the American Camp Association. They'll tell you that they're members of the American Camp Association. Being a member just means paying a fee. Being accredited means the American Camp Association comes out, audits our program, and signs off that we're doing what we're saying we're doing. We're not cutting any corners. The safety program is locked down. The transportation program is locked down. The activity, the program, the hiring, the training of the staff, everything is above board. No corners are being cut. And it doesn't mean if you choose a camp that is not accredited by the American Camp Association, that is necessarily a bad camp. Far from it. There's many good camps that are not accredited by the American Camp Association. However, the only way that you can get 100% peace of mind that the camp is following all the rules is that they have earned accreditation by the American Camp Association. Many camps provide transportation. Many have dropped out and decided not to provide it in light of COVID, but Aloha Beach Camp is the only camp that provides beach camp transportation as part of your camp fee. Others are charging $25 a day or more, something like that. We never charge more for transportation. It's an all-inclusive price. And this is, as I mentioned before, we feel like transportation is part of the camp day. So when you pay for camp, you get transportation included. I think I said before, my guess was we had like 200 to 500 beach camp activities, and this says 465. I think I have two twin boys, and one of them counted one time, and I think that's what we came up with. And then we have a sort of a rotating program activity location format. So like on Monday, we might be at Zuma Beach for surfing lessons. Same thing Tuesday at Paradise Cove. On Wednesday, Hurricane Harbor Field. I'm sorry, Castaic Lake on Wednesdays. We might take our field trip to Hurricane Harbor sometimes. I think we have that on the schedule for 2 or 3 days this summer. And then all kinds of different places for campers to see, experience, and enjoy. But please remember, the transportation really doesn't change. It's just the day, just the location that we go to. I think it's easiest to assume that just for the purposes of understanding our conversation and making it easier to remember for today, is that Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, we're generally at the beach. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we have field trips, like to Castaic Lake on Wednesday, and some place, for example, Oxnard, where the kids get to go ocean kayaking on Thursday. So like Wednesdays and Thursdays are field trip days. Beach days are Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays. That's just a sort of a, don't be glued to that example. It's just easy to remember it for the most part right now. And the younger campers will stay at the beach for the most part every day. There are some days that they go, younger campers, the Kiki campers, 5, 6, 7-year-olds, 4-year-olds, they get to go on field trips once in a while, but for the most part, stay at the beach. LA County Department of Public Health, the same government agency that sets rules and guidelines and opens up all the tiers. And you probably have seen her, Barbara Ferrer, I think her name is, the Department of Public Health, LA County's public health director, on the news. This department also certifies and permits and regulates children's camps. And we have a license as a children's camp issued by the LA County Department of Public Health. They came out, watched our program in action. They do this every year. They supervise us, and give us like a audit with a 25 to 50 point checklist that we have to demonstrate that we passed. It's similar to camp accreditation, but this is a little bit more stringent. And they come out every year, and no other beach camps, hardly any other camps, day camps themselves, has this in Los Angeles. No other children that I know of can find a camp where their parents don't have to pay if the kids don't love camp. And there's no risk to you here. If your kids don't love it, you don't pay. Safety is a huge, important component to you, we know, and to us too. We've been doing this like 22 some odd years. We've never had a single incident. You don't have to worry about that. Anything you can think of as far as risks go, much more perceived in your mind, I assure you, than actual. In the past, we've always invited, I hate to say this because it looks like it may have to be just for COVID this year. In the past, we've always invited parents, sight unseen, open door policy, come down, hang out with us during the day, supervise us, watch what we're doing, hide from, 100 yards away with your binoculars if you want, just to confirm we're doing what we're doing. And we say we confirm, we say we're doing, confirm, we do what we say we're doing. There we go. We want you to know that we want there to be an open door policy for parents to come supervise us. But in light of COVID this year, it may be that we're just not able to allow, extra people beyond the counselors and the campers themselves to come to the beach. But I'll find out about that. But one of the things I do want to point out is we are in an extremely unique situation in terms of our location at Zuma. We're at Lifeguard Tower 7. And what that means is that just like if you would go to the beach with your kids one day, or may you take a family day trip to the beach, when you get to the beach, you would likely set up your umbrella and your towels and everything right next to an open lifeguard tower. I hope you would. And so we do the same at Lifeguard Tower 7. However, in addition to that, our camp is literally a stone's throw. I mean, arms reach literally to the Zuma Beach Lifeguard headquarters tower. So there's about 10 additional lifeguards in there and lifeguard captains. This is a lifeguard captain name. His name is Remy. And so we get all this additional supervision beyond just the lifeguard in the tower. We have a permit to operate at Lifeguard Tower 7, so that lifeguard station is always open and always staffed and manned or by a lifeguard, LA County lifeguard, a man or a woman. And in addition, we have the LA County lifeguard headquarters right on top of us. So it's super safe. All of us are lifeguard certified and CPR and first aid certified, all of our staff and counselors. And we just have a motto that if it isn't safe, we won't do it. And if it isn't fun, we're not going to do it for very long. And I'm going to get sort of more clarification on that for you as to whether we're allowed to have, additional visitors this summer. I hope we can, but that'll just kind of remain to be seen. Oh, I also should say, in addition to the lifeguard headquarters, the LA County Sheriff Department is also right next to us at the beach. So imagine like our camp at a lifeguard tower, then imagine a few feet away is the Sheriff's Department. They've taken over a good part of the parking lot, and they have a mobile Sheriff's Department. And then in addition to that is the lifeguard headquarters. This is all within 50 feet of each other. So we're very, very well supervised. We've spoken about the safety record, the accreditation, and all of that. I would just suggest if you are going to choose a camp that is not accredited, first of all, you'll know the camp is accredited that the camp will put this logo on generally all of its marketing materials. But if you are looking into a camp that maybe doesn't have earned their accreditation, just ask the camp director why, and hopefully you'll be satisfied with the result, with the reason why. Every day when the campers come to the beach, this is probably 9 o'clock, I'd say 9:30 in the morning, and we have an all camp assembly. This is just a small handful of campers that would come on a typical day. There's a lot of other assemblies going on by age, but this year we're going to reduce capacity quite significantly. So this number of kids you see right here, this might be the only number of kids that are allowed to come to camp every day just based on capacity restrictions. I was just looking at these girls over here and wanted to show you, like you can see these sunscreen dots all over the place. We help the Kiki campers, the 4, 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. We'll put the sunscreen on the kids for them. They just put this all over their faces and stuff and legs for this picture. But we do this 3 to 4 to 5 times a day for the younger kids. And the older kids, which are going to be 8 and over, the counselors don't physically put it on. They will supervise the children applying their own sunscreen. Just another example to show you how it's a 2-to-1 ratio, principally at the lake. For staffing, we are lucky to have a very high camper and counselor return rate. So, there's some mandatory qualities we look for. Everybody has to be mature, responsible. We prefer they have at least 1 year of college under their belt and that they're at least 19 years old. But most of our counselors are far older because we have such a high return rate that some of the staff who come back year after year are in their 30s and even more. And yeah, we do have some new counselors from summer to summer, but they're highly trained. They're extremely mature. They have all of these credentials. Let's see if I can. I did mention before. All of us are certified by the Red Cross as lifeguards and CPR and first aid certified. When a counselor or a staff member applies for a job, there's a very stringent interview process that they need to go through. It typically takes a 3-phase interview process, and including a criminal background check. And so what the 3 phases are is generally a staff member or an applicant will submit a written application. Then we will meet them in a group interview with about 10 to 15 additional new applicants. And then of those 10 to 15 in a group type setting in a park somewhere or at the beach, we will maybe invite 2 to 3 of those 15 back for an individual interview. We will interview 2 to 3 of those remaining 2 to 3 applicants individually, and then maybe one of those 2 to 3 will then make it through to the final step, which is a personal interview with 2 of our camp directors. And so those are the 3 phases. And all of our counselors this year and staff who work at Aloha Beach Camp will have the COVID-19 vaccination. Mention COVID compliant. The nice thing about camp is at Aloha Beach Camp anyway, is that it's 100% outdoors. We know now this is the safest environment to be in. I know there's a lot of programs out there that operate indoors, and that's not something I guess I would recommend. We're having limited capacity this year, probably means 25 to 50% of normal. If you think of 100 to 150 kids per day in a normal season, then maybe we can have 50 to 75, probably closer to 50 per day. This year, we are getting to that point, but we do have space pretty much in all camp on all camp days. It's just if you are considering registering, we highly suggest you do so sooner than later, because camp will sell out and it's getting close. Just don't wait. And don't let me scare you into just about Aloha Beach Camp getting full. This statement goes for any camp that you might be considering. Most camps were closed last summer. Those that did not operate to that usually to the normal way that they do. And so all of this has resulted in a demand for summer camp the demand is like at an all-time high right now. I've never seen it like this before. So I highly suggest, even if you're, of course, we hope your child comes to Aloha Beach Camp and enjoys the summer with us. But if they don't, at least the other camps that you're considering, highly suggest you sign up as soon as possible, so you can get your first choice of sessions or days at that other camp. We will disinfect the equipment all day long, the boogie boards, the beach toys, the surfboards. Campers will be wearing masks on the bus and socially distanced on the bus. We will ask every child to provide proof of a negative COVID test prior to their first day of camp. We have a number of on-site medical experts. I mentioned we're all lifeguards. Some of us are EMTs, paramedics, and we have a number of California Health supervisors on staff. In addition to the lifeguards, everywhere we go, we're always supervised by public lifeguards. And mentioned before, everybody's been vaccinated or will be as a condition of employment. We're I already mentioned the licensing. I just forgot to say this, so I'm glad it's printed here. I own the camp, Aloha Beach Camp. I own it and operate it with my wife, Terry. And Terry's sister, she is in a relatively high-level management position at the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, the CDC. And so we know that CDC is a huge player in helping us know what to do to combat COVID and stay healthy and safe, and consistently putting out guidelines and recommendations relative to all that. And so because because Terry's sister works at CDC, we're very lucky that we're consistently getting information, good, important information relative to health and safety and how to manage the camp and stuff, usually sooner than you might hear it on the news or She'll tell us, hey, heads up, this is going to be announced on the news tomorrow or next week or whatever. So we are always, as far as keeping our campers and staff healthy and safe and making sure we're following all the COVID protocol, we're always getting that information a little bit in advance of everyone else, which is nice, so we can prepare. So here's what we call COVID-19 what ifs. How will COVID potentially, let's say things start to go south, which we hope they won't. But let's say they do, and what is the contingency? What are our alternative plans, and how can we modify Aloha Beach Camp to still be fun for everyone? Because we're not gonna just close down like we did last year and like so many camps did. We're gonna operate, and we're gonna conform to any rules that we need to, and we're gonna make sure that the kids have an absolute blast this summer, no matter what. They need it, they deserve it, they expect it, and we're going to deliver it. But what if we are told we can't do day-by-day enrollment? What if our day-by-day enrollment format is mandated now to become a weekly session format, or campers have to come on a consecutive number of days to camp? That's fine. That may happen. We don't think it will, but why it potentially would is because we don't want to have kids coming and going, and then if they weren't at camp for a couple of days, who knows who they were with, and then they come back to camp and now they're potentially exposing others. So we may need to switch to a more regular session-based format. If we do that, what we would probably do is that ask families to send their kids to camp Monday through Friday for a series of 5 days straight on week-to-week sessions, and you could choose as many or as few weekly sessions as you want. And in that case, there'd be no coming and going, no mingling, nothing like that. But for right now, we're operating status quo, as if things are status quo, as if things are normal in terms of our registration process, where you can pick and choose the days you want to come to camp. If it does come down that we need to choose a weekly session format or switch to it, we'll give you ample notice to help you rearrange your schedule so that it'll work for your family. Buses, we may, just to give you an idea, what spacing the kids out on the buses means to us is that we might use a bus that would typically have 80 passenger capacity on the bus, but with COVID-19, that 80 passenger capacity now only lets us take 20. So we're talking about a 25% or 75% reduction off the bat. So what does that mean? Does that mean we send 4 buses to the same bus stop instead of 1? Does it mean we consolidate the buses, and so that we're not, instead of 20 to 25 to 30 bus stops, now we only have 10? So that might mean a parent might need to drive 5-10 minutes longer to the bus stop. The typical bus stop wouldn't be as close to your house as before. But for right now, let's not worry about that. I think it's best for everyone, because we're certainly trying to make it this way, that everything continues the way we know it and the way we're comfortable doing it. And that means pick your own bus stop. Sure, we'll socially distance on the bus, but we're not going to ask you, we're not going to consolidate the stops right now. That, if it happens, will happen later, and we'll give you ample time to make any adjustments to your own daily schedules that you might need to, if it happens. And we're not planning that it does right now anyway. So campers will definitely wear masks. And what happens on the bus? And what happens if we can't operate? What happens if what happens if coronavirus gets so bad that it's just not going to be safe for us to operate camp anymore? Well, I just said a minute ago that we're absolutely going to do it, and we are committed to that. If something just drastically unforeseen happens, and we just can't do it, I can't see that happening based on what I know. But if it does, you'll have your choice of getting an entire a full 100% refund of the fees for camp that you prepaid this year, whether it's a deposit or you paid in full. If we tell you, oh, we can't run because of coronavirus this summer, you can take a 100% refund, or you could take your prepaid money and apply it to camp in summer 2022. A lot of people did that this year from last year. They prepaid for camp last year in summer 2020, found out we couldn't operate, and instead of taking a refund, many people asked for refunds, so we gave those. But more asked if we would apply it to this summer, just knowing that because we were closed last year, that how high of a demand there would be this year. And the same thing would be twice as much of a demand next year if we couldn't operate this year. So you'd have your choice. If we can't run Aloha Beach Camp, which I just have, I cannot foresee us being unable to operate. But if we can't, you choose a refund or to apply a credit to the future summer. And if you choose to apply a credit, you'll get a lot of bonuses like the free week of camp in the following year and other things like that. I believe I mentioned it was $99 a day. You can get coupons and things like that on our website. And I also mentioned that camp is getting full. We still do have room. I would really, not just for Aloha Beach Camp, but any camp you're considering, I just have to reiterate, very important that you, what's happening here is there's like two things that are making camp so desirable for everyone this year, and camps in such demand. Number one, because we were all closed last year, kids need to make up for lost time and get a really good camp experience this year. So everyone wants to go to camp. And then secondly, or B, camps are operating at, mandated to operate at far less capacity than normal. So what you have is these two factors at work. One, all these people want to come to camp. All these kids want to go to camp, but conversely, we don't have enough room for everyone that wants to come. So very important that you sign up sooner rather than later, for not just for Aloha Beach Camp, but any camp. I think that's the last slide. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And I think I mentioned I wanted to show you. I'm going to try to do that again, actually. I think I mentioned I wanted to show you how people can sign up day by day. So let's see if I can. Well, I'm having trouble, so let's stop that right now.